Okay, so this is the 2022 WA2. I may go a little bit faster. So if you find it a little bit too fast or you don't understand certain portions, do not hesitate to just message me, alright? So please make sure you have done it already before you do your corrections. It's important that you actually do it once, okay? Not just watch it. Unless, of course, you really don't know anything. But if you really don't know anything, then that is quite concerning. Okay, let's look at question number 1. They say the population of Indonesia in 2021 was 272.25 million. Million, you need to know lah. There are 6 zeros, alright? So it's 10 to the power of 6. So we can write that 272.25 times 10 to the power of 6. But they want us to express in standard form. So what is standard form? Standard form, just remember, it is the first number is greater than 0 but less than 1. Okay, so means I need to shift this thing, how many? 1, 2. I need to shift it 2 times, so 2.7225. Now, in general, if you reduce this number, then this power would have to increase. So you move it by 2 steps. So this one has to be shifted by 2 as well. So this one gets larger, this one gets smaller. It's fair, right? But they want us to leave our answer correct to 3 significant figures. So our final answer is 2.72 times 10 to the power of 8. Okay? Because this 2, you round it down. So 2.72 times 10 to the power, excuse me, of 8. Okay, so part B. James planned to deposit 50,000 into bank to earn interest. Bank A, so we have 2 banks. Okay, we have Bank A, we also have Bank B. Now, Bank A is simple interest. So what is the simple interest? Simple interest is PRT. Bank B offers compound interest. What's the formula for compound interest? It's P, 1 plus R over 100 to the power of N. Right, let's look at the simple interest first. Now, we know that the principal is 50,000. The interest rate is 3.75. Sorry, this is divided by 100. Missed it out. 3.75 divided by 100. And the time is 5 years. So let's enter this in our calculator. 50,000 times 3.75 divided by 100 times 5. So I'm going to get 9,375. I'm going to earn an interest of $9,375 at Bank A. So Bank B, my compound interest, my principal is 50,000, 1 plus. This one, you need to be very careful because this R is not the interest rate per year. The question says that it is compounded quarterly. The R is the interest rate per compounded period. Okay, so compounded quarterly means what? 1 year, how many quarters does it have? 1 year, we have 4 quarters. Okay, we have 4 quarters in a year. So the interest rate per quarter is actually going to be 3.5 divided by 4. Okay, so 3.5 divided by 4, I'm going to get 0.875%. Okay, so my interest rate per quarter is going to be 0.875%. Okay, and what is the N? N is the number of times I need to compound. So in 5 years, I need to compound. Every year I need to compound 4 times. So means I need to compound 20 times in the span of 5 years. So let's substitute it in. My interest rate is 0.875 divided by 100. I'm going to compound it by 20. So enter this in your calculator. 50,000, 1 plus 0.875, 100 raised to the power of 20. So I'm going to get 59,516.989. So what is the interest component that I've earned? The compound interest is actually the principal plus the interest. So the interest alone is going to be 59,006.989 minus away the principal, and that would give me 9,516.99. Okay, if I leave to 2 decimal place. Okay, so which bank should I put my money in? Of course, it would be Bank B. Okay, the reason is very simple. It's because it earns me a higher interest. All right, let's look at part C. Stella invests 2,500 per year compound interest. At the end of 8 years, the value of investment is 3046. Okay, so again, the compound interest formula is P1 plus R over 100 to the power of N. So the compounded interest after 8 years of value of investment is 3046. Her principal is 2,500. 1 plus, it's invested at R. We don't know what R is, but we know it's going to be invested for 8 years. So how do we solve this? We divide both sides by 2005. So I'm going to take 3046 divided by 2005. I'm going to get 1.218 is 1 plus R over 100 to the power of 8. Now, how do I get rid of this power? I can 8 root both sides, correct? Because the 8 root will neutralize this 8. Okay, so how do I do that? Let me use my calculator. Let's see. 8, 1.218. So I'm going to get 1.024957. Lead to more decimal places lah. So I'm going to get 1 plus R over 100. Okay, so I'm going to flip this around so it's a little bit easier for you to see. Okay, I'm going to minus 1 on both sides. So 1 over 100 is equals to minus 1 on both sides, 0.024957. Okay, and then cross multiply. All right, so if I cross multiply, I'm going to get R is equals to this whole thing times 100. I'm going to get 2.49576. Okay, so what's the value of R? For this question, you can leave it as 3 significant figures. So I'm going to leave my answer as 2.4. If I leave it 3 significant figures, this 5 is going to add 1, so it's going to be 2.50. All right, so my interest is actually 2.50%. You can always check back your answer. Let's say if you want to substitute back inside here, okay, here specifically, you can try 2,500, 1 plus 2.5 over 100 to the power of 8. Enter this in your calculator. 2005, 1 plus 2.5, 100, close it to the power of 8, okay? And you get 3046, you will get 3046, okay? So that's how you double check your answer in the exam to see whether you are correct or not. Okay, so let's move on. Question number 2. The coordinates of point A and B are this and this respectively. Find the equation of the line AB. Now, a line has a general form of y equals to mx plus c. So all we need to do is find out what is m. What is m? M is just y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so if I say this is my point 1, this is my point 2, then I can just do it. Negative 4 minus 5 divided by 2 minus negative 1. So I'm going to get negative 9 divided by 3, because 2 plus minus 3, negative gives me plus, so I'm going to get negative 9 divided by 3 gives me negative 3. Alright, so I know my m now is negative 3x plus c. How do I find c? I just need to choose any of this and substitute it inside, right? Because this is my value of x, this is my value of y. Likewise, this is my value of x, this is my value of y. Choose any one, point 1 or point 2, it's okay. It will give you the same answer, okay? So let's try point 1, okay? So I know my y is 5, my x is negative 1 plus c. So 5, negative 3 multiplied by negative 1 gives me 3 plus c. So therefore, c is equal to 5 minus 3, which is 2. So what's my equation? Y is equals to negative 3x plus 2. How about part B? A line has the same gradient as the line. If it's of this form, change it into y equals mx plus c. Oh no, but don't worry, I don't need to use the first part, so let's ignore that. Okay, so this one, I'm going to change it. I'm going to bring the y over to the other side. So 2x plus 5 is equals to y. Let's flip it around. Y is equals to 2x plus 5. So what's the gradient here? This is the gradient, and this is the y-intercept, c, right? But we don't need to care about the y-intercept. because it tells us that the line L has the same gradient. So if I want to find the equation of line L, I know the gradient is going to be 2. I just don't know what the y-intercept is. Okay, but I know it cuts the y-axis at 0, 6. So this refers to the x, this refers to the y. Just substitute it in. 6 is equals to 2 times 0 plus c. So therefore, c is equals to 6. So my equation is 2x plus 6. That's it. Alright, let's move on. Question number 3. The diagram shows the points blah blah blah. The line CB is parallel to the x-axis. This is parallel to the x-axis means what? It means that this is a horizontal line. So what's the equation of BC? It cuts it. If it's a horizontal line, that means y equals to mx plus c. The m in this case, the gradient, if it's a horizontal line, is 0. So I only need to find out what's the y-intercept. Y-intercept clearly here intercepts it at -5. So the equation of a line BC is y equals to -5. That's all. The area of the triangle ABC, the area can be found by half times base times height. The height is the perpendicular height. Okay, so what is this height over here? This height over here, I can take my y2 minus y1. I know it's 5 units. What is my base over here? This is 3 units, right? So the area is just half times 3 times 5. So I'm going to get half times 3 times 5 gives me 7.5. 7.5. Moving on. The length of AC. The length of AC is over here. Okay, I'm just going to do my working up here lah. Then later I just drag it down, alright? If that's okay with you guys. Okay, so the length of AC is just going to apply the formula y2 minus y1 square plus x2 minus x1 square. So just apply it. Alright, let's substitute in 0 minus -5, the whole thing square, plus my x2, which is 3, minus -3, whole thing square. Okay, so I'm going to get 25, and here 3 minus minus, that gives me 3 plus 3, which is 6. 6 square. 6 square gives me 36. Okay, so 25 plus 36 gives me 61. So I'm going to get 7.81. This is to 3 sig fig. Alright, let me bring this working down if it allows me to cross the page, which I think it should. Yes, lucky it does. Okay, so this is my length of AC. But of course, sometimes we need to leave it to more decimal places for the next part. Okay, you just give me a while, because my son is crying. I mean, let me just check on him. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, my apologies. I'm back. The shortest distance from B to AC. Now, this is a very commonly asked question, right? So, what's the shortest distance from B to AC? It is always the perpendicular height. This is the shortest distance. We're going to call it H. Now, we have already found the area, right? Have you found the area? Yes, the area of triangle, which is 7.5. So, we know that the area is half times base, which is the length of AC. Now, I want to use this value over here, which has a little bit more decimal place, right? So, times the perpendicular height. So, the shortest distance is actually the perpendicular height. So, all we need to do is just solve for what is h over here, all right? So, let's try this. 7.5 divided by half divided by 7.810249. Okay, so I'm going to get h is equals to 1.92. Is that okay? All right, let's move on. Question number 5. Simplify the following. Express your answer in positive index form. All right, so if I have powers here, I can just distribute it in. So 81 to the power of 3 over 4, x 12, 3 over 4, over y, negative 8, 3 over 4. So let's distribute it. Okay, so what's 81 raised to the power of 3 over 4? So I'm going to get 27 x, the power 12 times 3 divided by 4, this gives me 9. And I have 8 times 3 divided by 4, so I'm going to get y to the power of negative 6. So if I want to leave my answer in positive index form, that's easy. I just need to bring this up to the numerator. So I'm going to get 27x to the power of 9, y to the power of 6. That's all, ladies and gentlemen. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, so part B, solve the equation. Whenever they ask you to solve, you need to change everything to the same base. One look, if you are very familiar with perfect squares, you will know that 9 can be represented as 3 squared. 27, just trial and error if you don't know, it's 3 to the power of 3. Okay, 3 to the power of 3 gives you 27. Don't forget about the n is equals to 1. Anything raised to the power of 0 gives you 1, except of course 0 to the power of 0. Okay, but once we get here, let's finish this up. Same base, if I were to multiply them together, the powers will add up. So 2 plus 3n is equals to 3 to the power of 0. So therefore, 2 plus 3n is equals to 0. We can compare the powers immediately. 3n is equals to negative 2, so therefore n is negative 2 over 3. All right. Let's go to part C. Now, it is given that 5p is equals to this plus this plus this plus this. How are we going to do this? Actually, this is only a 1-mark question because if you actually notice the trick, it's actually quite easy. How many 5 to the power of 11s do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So would you not agree with me that this 5 to the power of p is the same as 5 times of 5 to the power of 11? Correct? Because we have 5 to the power of 11. So it's 5 times of 5 to the power of 11. Okay? So if I have this, 5 is just 5 to the power of 1. Same base. That means I can add the powers. So it's 5 to the power of 12. So comparing the powers, p is equals to 12. Okay? So p is equals to 12 in this case. Let's move on. In the answer space below, sketch the graph of y equals to 1 over 2. Now, this one, you just have to memorize what does the shape look like. So we know it's going to be this way. Why? Because number 1, this is a square. Square is positive. That means we know that the graph is going to be always positive. It's going to be above the x-axis. Okay, and then this shape, we just know that this is the shape of 1 over x squared and 1 over x cubed. Of course, 1 over x cubed, then this one will be on the other side. Okay, so they give you this dot over here, 1, 1. So you need to substitute when your x is 1, when my x is 1, what's the value of y? It is also 1, right? So we know that this graph has to cut at this point. This is the thing that we are looking out for, all right? Oops, let me draw this a little bit better. Okay, so this is the thing we are looking out for. So you just need to draw on both sides, something like that. All right, I think this one can be a bit better. All right, so this is how you do this question. Let's move on. Question number 7. Okay, this one I did it for you. You should be able to plot out the points yourself. Okay, so drawing of graphs, you notice that it's quite heavy. Doing substitution is already 1 mark. Then drawing and plotting is another 3 marks. You must know your paper is upon 40. So this is really 10% of your total marks. And it's really 3 marks. So what's the key thing that we look out for? Your points, you roughly agaration. Okay, you mark it out properly. When you draw the line, use it with a pencil. And you go through all of those points. Okay, you must cut through all of those points. You must cut through. Okay, so these are the key things that we look out for. Okay, now part C, by drawing a tangent, find the gradient of the curve at x equals to 4. So what is a tangent? You need to use a ruler and you need to go to x equals to 4, and roughly, okay, the key thing that I'm looking out for is that the space over here must be roughly to the space over here. Okay, so this one you just do aggregation. I show you a bad example. Like this is a bad example. Why? Because you can see here that the space over here is different from the space over here, right? Or even this is a very bad example, okay? Because the space here is very different from the space here. Okay, you gotta make sure that it's equal. Okay, you gotta make sure it's equal. So it's gonna be something like this. Okay, like I said, just do some aggregation. Okay, so I've already drawn the tangent. So I'm just going to try to put it very nicely at this point. Yeah, I think this is a very nice tangent. Okay, once you draw a tangent, let's read the question. By drawing a tangent, so that's 1 mark. Find the gradient. How do we find the gradient? Choose any 2 points. I think this point is nice. This point is pretty nice as well. What's the coordinate of this? This is 230. This one is 7, 10. Okay, this is 7, 10. Okay, so can we find the gradient? Absolutely, let's do it here. Okay, so the gradient is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Remember the formula? 10 minus 30 divided by 7 minus 2. So it's negative 20 over negative 5. Not negative 5, 5. Okay, so let's finish this. So my answer is negative 4. Is negative correct? Yes, because it's downward sloping. So my gradient is this. I don't know what's wrong with my iPad. It keeps disappearing. Alright, so we have found that the gradient is negative 4. Okay, it's negative 4, right? Or is it negative 5? I can't remember. But you guys know. Okay, so explain how the graph shows that the value of y cannot be equals to 10. Okay, y cannot be equals to 10 because the minimum point is at here. Can you see the minimum point? In this case, the minimum point would be at 18. Right? Say y cannot because the minimum point is at y equals to 18. So because 10 is actually lower, okay, it's actually lower than 18, so therefore the graph cannot be equals to 10. Okay, so please do your corrections for this one and get ready. Tomorrow we are going to do a mini mock test, so get ready for the mini mock test as well. Alright, if not, take care, enjoy the rest of your holiday.